never ever kneel playing during the national anthem. And I would only kneel in front of my God, and that's Jesus Christ. Thank you.
Yay.
Know the lyrics, sing along with me. If not, you can come along. Okay, here you go. Thank you. Thank you, Linda.
Oh, that was wonderful.
Can I give you my email? Will you send that to me?
Yeah.
It's my email is Chrissy369 at gmail.com.
Let's do the Pledge of Allegiance. There's a flag on
Yeah, he'd be faster, I think.
Yeah, I guess so. I didn't
I'm
see a
holding
flag.
on to this better now.
Where's there a flag? Oh, there we go. Oh, it's a good one. Oh, okay. There we go.
So if you can stand, and let's recite the Pledge of Allegiance. Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Hey.
Grade school?
Yeah,
Yeah.
grade school. They don't do it anymore, right?
Okay, we have three special guests here today, and the first one I'd like to introduce. He doesn't
This is my my phone and my email.
That's great.
And he's
I have a website
Santa
too.
Clara County
Website here.
City Council,
Thank you.
District 6.
I'm a party organizer.
Oh,
I
really?
mean, I'm a calendar person, and I do a lot of organizing.
Oh, that's
I work
nice.
with Linda.
Oh, nice.
I want you to have a party, you and Lem and everybody. I want you guys to have a party. I've been trying to get Lem to have a party. I will help you, support you in every way. Okay?
Oh, thank you, thank you.
Ask
Thank
them
you
to
very much.
support you.
Nice to know you.
My name is Gautam Gary Burve. I'm running for City Council in Santa Clara District 6. Santa Clara is facing a budget deficit crisis. There's a budget deficit crisis to the tune of $22 million for the next year, for year 2021. And we need to make sure that we support our businesses and bring our economy back up and running again. I am running on a pro-business political platform. So the question I ask myself is, how do we get from a budget deficit situation to a budget surplus situation? And there are a few ways to do this without increasing taxes and without putting burden on our Santa Clara residents. So I will quickly cover those in less than a minute. The first is we need to remove the curfew, the 10 p.m. curfew at the 49ers Levi Stadium immediately. We need to make sure that concerts happen so that the city general fund gets close to $500,000 per concert. That will take care of a major portion of the budget deficit crisis. The second issue is the Franklin Square downtown. We need to make sure that we have a great, big, thriving downtown with building vertically. dense housing is very important. We need to make sure that we take care of our housing crisis in Santa Clara by the demand and supply principle, not just for the 10% or the 15% of Santa Clarans, but for all Santa Clarans. That's very important. And number 3, we need to support our small businesses in Santa Clara and our restaurants, which are struggling because of the COVID.
It's really great to see so many Republicans on here.
That's what
Is that better? We're better? Okay, perfect. So, I just came down from a No Prop 16 event, a car rally, and they're all riled up. They understand what's at stake right here. We have, in California right now, from what I see, is that we're having a systematic change in the way our government is run. The way I see things running, we're eventually going to go from state assembly, state senate, to basically a politburo. They're going to dissolve what we have there and just make it one government, which basically is going to make all the choices for everybody. We cannot have that. That is not democracy in a republic. Not just that it's democracy, but we are in a republic, and they need to remember that as well. We have a lot of fighting that we have to do. My fight does not end on November 3rd. It just begins. We're going to need all your help after November 3rd. If you can, if you're able to, speak to 3 of your friends. Ask them to volunteer. There's a sign-up sheet coming up for some information. Please, put your name down. Even if all you can do is call someone and just talk to them, have a simple conversation, do that. This is not going to be an easy fight, and I'll take the arrows for you guys. I'm willing to lose everything that I built in the last 20 years to make sure that we get the state that we want, which is one that has opportunity, one that has rights, one that has justice. All 3 things that we need to survive in a society that we will love and that our children can at least grow into. Thank you.
Okay, and then we have a 3rd candidate who is also a VIP, and his name is Peter Kuo, and he's running for West Valley Mission College District 1. That's his candidacy. But he's a VIP for us because he's the vice chair of the California Republican Party. So awesome. Thank you.
Awesome.
All right, it's great to be here today. I have a gift for all of you here today. I got lots of Trump 2020 dollars, and then even the gold foil one. Those are the expensive ones, so make sure you grab them on the way out. And I got tons and tons of bumper stickers, Trump 2020 stickers. And I advise you, don't put them on your car. Keep it in your heart, okay? Because I'm an insurance agent. I see too many cars get vandalized with, actually burned with Trump's sticker on it. So, with that being said, I just finished a board meeting this morning. Very excited to report that the party itself is doing very well financially. We are engaging all kinds of demographics. So we're doing 50 groups of American for Trump. So we're going to have a Vietnamese American for Trump, Taiwanese American for Trump. Since the Democrat played identity politics so well, we're going to follow suit and beat them to it, okay? So Christians for Trump, Muslim for Trump, all those are already done. So all you have to do is plug yourself into those Facebook groups and look for that announcement. So, so the volunteers that we collect is not just going to help my race, Gary's race, or whoever Carlos race. We're going to helping every other candidates throughout the state, and of course our president as well. So the tool that we use is going to be Campaign Sidekick. So get yourself familiar with it. It's actually sit in front of a computer and just click, click, click. You make 5 phone calls at the same time. Very, very effective. And it's exclusive for Republican candidates. So that's something that Democrats don't have. So I'm very excited to announce that. And finally, I want to thank our host, Mike and Wendy, for having us here today. Really, I mean, it's little things, little parties like this that we sign waivers and all those things that really bring out the best of the Republican Party. We're not doing this for ourselves. I'm not running for office for ourselves. We're running it for our children and the next generation. For those of us who has been persecuted by our older government, the big government, the socialist government, we come to the country for freedom and liberty, and we don't take those words lightly. And what we're seeing today is exactly what happened to our home country 30, 40 years ago. So we have first-hand experience, so we want to hear our stories. All of us are happy to share. So again, thanks Liam for bringing all these Vietnamese volunteers here today. I appreciate that. Thank you, Liam. And it's going to be a force that to be reckoned with, because we don't want to see America become a socialist country. That's the last thing we want to see. Because if this country is gone, or even this state is gone, there's no place to go anymore. So, yes. Yeah. Yes. So yes, my daughter included. She's registered Democrat. You know, I'm very proud that she has her own opinion, but I think we need to. I, as a parent, need to do a better job in explaining to them the consequences. What you see destroying the statues is exactly what the Cultural Revolution went through in China. They burn books. They start. If they had a cancel culture. If you have different ideas, they basically kill you or imprison you. So this is the story we have to tell to our next generations. And there are many Venezuelans who can actually tell you something. If they say, "Oh, 50 years ago was a long time ago," no, Venezuela only happened 10 years ago. So those are the things we need to really share with our story. Again, just pound on that idea that America should never be a socialist country. So again, Democrats are very clever in what they do. We need to use our own wisdom. And again, the best tool that I can come up with is the identity politics. Muslim American for Trump. I mean, how could they go wrong with that, right? So I think in a very short period of time, today is the 100th day until November 3rd. So we have 100 days, and then 68 days until the ballot comes out. So let's work on it, okay? Again, thank you, Linda, for all you do. The org chart, I'm going to take to the stage. Thank you.
Okay, I have a message for you, and I'm going to start by telling you a little bit about myself. I love America.
Me too.
And I love its promise of the American dream. And here's why. I grew up in Hawaii, and in 1975, I graduated from high school. And my parents decided to move to Oregon, and I decided to stay. So, with a mixture of apprehension, a smidge of confidence, and a bit of ignorance, I stepped out into adulthood. Okay. My unemployment at the time was really high, and my road was not easy. But there's one week that I look upon with fondness. I look back on it with fondness. At the time, I rented a room in a house with 5 other people, and I was absolutely broke. All I had to eat that week was spaghetti noodles and butter. And I remember standing in the kitchen, watching my roommate saute mushrooms, and they looked so good. And I was too proud to ask for any, and my roommate did not share. So I knew my future was up to me. And if it was going to be, it was up to me. So I finally found a job, and it required that I wear an orange bikini and sell fresh squeezed orange juice on the beach of Waikiki. And I made 40 cents per bottle sold. And on my first day, after about an hour, it rained. But I had made $4, and there was a restaurant in Waikiki that would sell me a steak and a baked potato and a salad for $3.50. Today, I run a business and I employ about 10 people. We provide services to about 170 clients, bookkeeping services. I'm happily married to my husband. We've been married over 30 years. We have 2 boys. We put them both through college, the first in both my husband's family and mine. And that is my example of the American dream. About a year ago on TV, I saw thugs harass students who were expressing their free speech rights on college campuses. And I saw masked goons claiming to be anti-Nazis damage property in Berkeley because they did not agree with the featured speaker. And in San Jose, I saw our police stand by and do nothing to protect a woman who was pressed against a locked door, having eggs thrown at her by an angry mob simply because she supported our duly elected president. And this scared me. Have any of you felt that way? Good. Todd, Jay, tell us your story. Wait, can't hear you. Come on up.
I voted. I remember having fights with my dad because I would walk in and he would call me, "You people, you bleeding hearts are going to ruin this country," because he was listening to Bush Limbaugh. I was probably in my 20s, and I said, "Dad, you don't know what you're talking about." So I find myself remembering him or conversations when I try and talk to people in my family, my friends, that we're moving in the wrong direction. And this ideology, you know, remind me of what my dad claimed. People like myself in those days are bleeding hearts.
Chị không để ý gì hết, toàn dưới chân không á.
Ồ, tại vì ok.
Nhắc chị hoài cái này. Nè, coi cho coi nha, like của chị. Thấy chưa? Nè.
Sorry, tại lúc đó.
Hồi nãy giờ lâu lắm.
Ồ, vậy đó hả? Ồ.
I don't want government to punish me because I want to defend my property and my liberties. So I'm willing to fight.
Okay. Now, I am not normally a fearful person, and then it hit me. If I'm feeling afraid, it's because someone intends me to feel afraid. And I can agree with that or not. I could not believe that I was the only person in Santa Clara County who disagreed with the madness. And so I took to Google and searched for like-minded friends in Santa Clara County. And I was pleasantly surprised to find that there are a lot of people and a lot of groups who are defending liberty. In the past year, I surveyed my options to determine what I could do that would be most effective in combating the progressive tyranny that is threatening our right to live free and pursue happiness. I believe I found the answer, and I want to share it with you today, with the hope that you will join me, particularly because the barbarians are now at the gates. And this is not a joke. When the recent riots started, a friend of mine, welcome, a friend of mine who works in the city told me that the city was deluged with phone calls for days from people who sounded like they were reading scripts demanding that the city defund the police. And on Tuesday and this morning at 10 o'clock, your county supervisors were inviting public comment on how to reimagine our justice system through the lens of racial and social equity. And those are buzzwords for you know what, okay. Plus, you know, in my neighborhood there were signs on not one but 3 posts directing people to the websites that supported the riots in my neighborhood. And I received a text message on my phone directing me to a website that supported the riots. And I had to ask myself, how did they find me? And the only thing I can think of is, as part of doing competitive market research, I signed up for a Get Out the Vote campaign run by the Democrats. And I think that's how they found me. I don't know. So those who threaten our liberty right now are organized and they are active. And we need to protect our values by doing the same. So we have to ask ourselves, and I'm asking each of you now, do you want to live in a socialist state?
No.
Good. Do you want to be ruled by unelected globalists? No. Good. Do we want to live in an unarmed condition where religion is threatened and our history is being rewritten with false data? No. Good. And do we want our children to be indoctrinated by people with destructive values? No. Excellent. And I suspect the answer is not only no, but hell no. Hell no. Hell no. So we have to ask ourselves, how badly do you want to win?
Very bad.
Desperate. Yay.
Yeah.
Thank you. The next question I want you to ask is, are you willing to do whatever it takes to win? Yes. Good. We are Republicans, and our party was founded on freedom. And don't you think it's up to us to defend that freedom? Yes.
Yep.
Good. Okay. Chris, I have, Chris, the red paper. Okay, when was the last time that Santa Clara County voted red? Who can say?
Long time ago.
Okay, it was in 1984, Reagan versus Mondale. There's Santa Clara County, and it was red. It happened before, we can do it again. Hi, welcome back. So the question is, what was Reagan selling at the time? Yes. He was selling freedom supported by limited government, law and order, and personal responsibility. So we did it before, we can do it again. So today, thank you, I'm going to tell you the unvarnished facts about the condition of our party, how it's organized, and where you fit in. And I'm going to tell you how we can take back California. And Peter, if I'm wrong about what I'm saying about the California Republican Party, you're going to let me know. Okay. So personally, I truly believe that together we can take back California, starting right here and right now. But before we talk about that further, take a minute and imagine in your mind what life would be like in California today if we had more conservatives in office. Just get that picture. Let me know when you got it.
Utopia.
Has everybody got it? Good. How important is it to you that you achieve that vision?
Everything.
Good. And what are we doing now to create that vision? I'm going to tell you. I beg your pardon? Yeah, yes. Okay. Many of us are afraid and hiding and don't even know that there are other Republicans who live on their same street.
Yeah.
Some are angry and complaining to people who agree with them. And others are encouraging friends via social media to wake up and see the insanity by sharing memes. All that's good, but really it equates to waving your arms, saying the sky's falling, the sky's falling. And I think we're at the stage now where a lot of us know the sky is falling and we need to take the next step. And the next step is to do 3 activities that will truly make a difference. Because too few of us are doing those 3. And what they are is finding conservative candidates to run for office, building an army of volunteers to support those candidates so they can win, and voter registration. Getting enough Republicans enough people to register as Republicans and then to vote so that we can all win. And I wanted to give Jan Soleil, she's our candidate recruiter, so I'm going to give her 2 minutes to just 2 minutes. 2.5.
I'm Jan Souley, and along with Linda and Mike, we were elected to the Republican Central Committee and take office in January. I actually serve as an alternate on the Central Committee right now. And I am the president of the Silicon Valley Association of Republican Women, of which I will do a commercial for later. Okay. Do you know what nonpartisan means? Nonpartisan means you run for office without an R or a D after your name. Okay? So, Gary and Peter are running as nonpartisan, okay? There are over 190 nonpartisan seats up for election in Santa Clara County. Can I say that again? Over 190, okay? Now, we know that the left, the Dems, are really good at running people. We really need to do a much better job, but it means you need to step up, okay? The nomination period is already opened. August 7th is the last day to file nomination papers, but don't worry about that, because we can help you. Many of us have been through this whole thing many, many times. Okay, have you ever thought about running for school board? Okay. Oh, we can find a place for you, Chris. Okay. But here's something the Dems always do. They use these stepping stones like Santa Clara Valley Open Space District. Do you know what that is? Okay, your property tax, $25 out of your property tax goes to that. Well, there's those, Mid-Peninsula Open Space. Dems run people in those offices so that they can then run for city council kinds of jobs. Because clearly, the more time your name is on the ballot, the more time people think they know you and they vote for you. That's it. So you've got to run. Anyway, if anybody lives in this area, like where Mike lives, there is an open space seat open. Okay? Now there are 3 Santa Clara Valley Open Space Authority seats up for election. We, as Republicans, have somebody running for District 1 and somebody running for District 4. So this area right now is open. This is an easy seat to run for, okay? Because you go, you fill out your nomination, your endorsement paper with Santa Clara County Republican Party, and you end up on their door hanger, okay? All right, that's already done. Oh yeah, there's also Cupertino School Board, there's Campbell High School District, if you live in the right one, there's a radical Marxist in Campbell High School District. But I don't know anybody who lives in that trustee area, okay? So anything you might be interested in, please come in and talk to me. If you're at all interested, we could talk, and maybe you're going to decide to think about it in 2 years. This all comes up again. So come and talk to me. I'm happy. No wasted conversations. If you're willing to even step up and run for office, including Liam and all his Vietnamese friends. Okay? Thank you.
Okay, so I'm just going to remind you that you all did say you would do whatever it takes to win, so we desperately need you to run for office. Okay, so too few of us are doing the 3 activities that will truly make a difference: finding candidates, building an army of volunteers, and voter registration. The group most responsible for these activities in this area is called the Santa Clara County Central Committee. That is your official Republican Party in this county. Who knew that you had a central committee? Raise your hand if you knew that. Okay, most people don't know that. I find that very interesting. So now you've been officially notified. But what is a party? A party is a group of people who have the same ideology and political positions. It's people. It's you and you and you and you and me. We are the party. If you registered Republican, you are the party. Do you think if more of us would participate in the party, we'd have a greater opportunity to win? Good. Okay. So, here is the unvarnished truth that I promised to tell you. Beware. It's either going to scare the bejeebers out of you, or it's going to inspire you to join us. Ready? Okay. The national party is called the Republican National Committee, and it's organized by state. And in our state, we have the California Republican Party. And one might think that there are dozens of people in Sacramento to build that party. But, and here, Peter, you're going to fact check me. I think there are only just about 5 or maybe 10 people there that I met. I met them in San Mateo last year. And they were all young at the time, and they had all been on the job for about 3 to 6 months. Now there are 4 million people in California. So, weigh that. 40 million people. 5 or 6 people trying to get 40 million people to do something. 5 or 6, 40 million. Am I right? Oh, good. Yeah, I was right. It was 5. Statewide office. So the California Republican Party is organized by county, and there are 58 counties, and each county has what is called a central committee, okay? And the California Santa Clara Republican Central Committee is made up of 43 people. Their positions are unpaid, and many of them also have a job or run a business. And these 43 people are no different than you or me. The only thing is that they've assumed responsibility for activating hundreds of thousands of voters to the best of their ability. So, weigh that ratio. 43 people, part-time, hundreds of thousands of voters. 43, hundreds of thousands. The Santa Clara County Central Committee is organized into 5 districts. And as of now, we actually have one person to head up each district. When I first started this, we didn't have that, but we do now. So that's excellent. Thank you to Michelle. Michelle's efforts. I'll give her credit. Okay. But the districts are organized by neighborhood. And there's 2,147 neighborhoods in Santa Clara County. So we've got 5 people who have the task of recruiting 2,147 neighborhood leaders. And a neighborhood, okay, I've been studying some statistics about the neighborhoods, and there's one that I looked at, and it had, in District 1, there's 561 neighborhoods. And this one neighborhood had, okay, excuse me. In this one neighborhood, in the 2018 election, there were 66 Republicans, but only 53 of them voted. So that's 14 of them did not vote. And in that same precinct, there were 84 Republicans, and 66 of them voted. So if all of the Republicans in that one precinct, we would have won by 1 vote. Can you believe it? And I think that's true in many of the precincts here. Not necessarily all of them, but many of them. So I think that in many neighborhoods, we're losing elections by just a tiny quantity of votes in a neighborhood. I think our party is, well, maybe I think in my perception, Peter, is it's changing, which is great, but my perception originally has been that our party has been running on a scarcity of volunteers candidates and votes. And it's not because there are too few conservatives in our county. Rather, it's because not enough of us are doing the 3 actions necessary to win. And we want to change that. And so here's how we're going to do it. So we have Jan and her team recruiting candidates. If you've ever considered running for office, God bless you. That takes a really special person, and make sure you talk to her, please. We're building the party by recruiting volunteers, and your help can be as simple as making phone calls or writing letters from home, or you can be a neighborhood leader. And you can host a neighborhood party. This is our 4th neighborhood party that we're having. We're prepared to have up to 3 in a day. We just need party hosts. And each party is netting about 30% of the people who come to the party sign up to be volunteers.
I have a lot of dates on the party.
Okay, great. Chris is the keeper of the party schedule. So if you think you'd like to do something like this, by the way, it can, Mike and Wendy went all out and did a big buffet. It's lovely and we love it, but if that's too hard for you, we had 2 other parties where one just served cookies and water and another one served chips and water, and both of those were successful parties in recruiting volunteers. Yeah, they were great. So if you decide you want to host a party, we'll help you. We'll give you the names and addresses of Republicans in your neighborhood so that you can invite them, in addition to anybody else you know. And if I can...
Guess what? You don't have to have it at your house, because I don't even have a backyard like this.
Wait,
you can have it at the park.
Yeah, you can have it in a park, you can have it at your house, wherever. It's one person's doing it in your church. And so we will help you. If I can find volunteers to make phone calls, to invite them to your party, I will. I had one guy making calls last night for Mike's party, and I think it probably helped boost some numbers, I hope. And not only will you help to elect candidates, you will develop friendships with like-minded Americans. And by connecting with other freedom lovers, you'll feel less isolated as a Republican. And you'll have an enormous impact as a neighborhood leader. What we kind of need, we've got 43 of us who have to reach hundreds of thousands of voters. And so if we have one person in each neighborhood who takes responsibility for their friends in that neighborhood to make sure, know who's registered, who's elderly and is going to have a hard time voting, and you'll meet them, and you'll help us update voter registration rolls. You'll help us make sure that the pregnant lady who can't get to the polls that day gets her vote counted. All kinds of fun things like that. And you might even encounter some pissed off Democrats and declined to state voters who want to join our party because their party has moved so far left that it has left them. Would you be willing to help do that? Something like that. Good.
Every day when I go out, talk to people on the street, I have not been
That's great. That's great. Chris is a great example. She is one of my most trusted and valued volunteers. And she was a Democrat a few months ago. So.
I think some of you might feel like I do, and that is that I've lost a lot of my liberties here. I'm a lifelong Democrat. I was a lifelong Democrat. I was born a Democrat. My parents were Democrats, and long tradition. I have an education in liberalism. Sorry. Right? Okay. And so anyway, I felt like it was pretty much of a fluke that I ever heard anything other than what the liberal agenda, the liberal narrative is. But I somehow started seeing all the discrepancies in my life. There were so many little red flags for a flash of a moment that I saw. And then when I came to myself and I realized that there's something wrong here, and I started doing a lot of research And I found that, luckily, I found the Republican Organizing Committee and a way to take my feelings of contradiction and my feelings of confusion and put them into action, because I can't stand California and I can't stand the United States, the place that I love, that I really value, and I want to live for the rest of my life. I can't stand it like this. I feel like so many of my liberties and my way of living have been taken away, and I think it's going to get worse. If we don't take it back, we have to stand up, even if it's hard, and even if we're, if it's threatening. It's fearful, but it's worth it, and thank God that, I found the Republican Organizing Committee, and I have a place to put all that fear and anger into that's going to make a change. So help me, and help us.
I just want to talk about one of the things Linda's talking about. In the primary, I did about 1,000 drawings. So I covered all the precincts from here to Saratoga and Campbell for the most part, and a little bit of Santa Clara. And occasionally you met people because their door was open and you're putting a door hanger on the door, and you ran into somebody and they said, "Wow, what are you doing?" And they looked at it and said, "We didn't even know there were other Republicans around here." And we need to get connected because there's a lot of conservatives in our area. We need to get organized. I love this. Linda put this together before our first neighborhood party. We did the neighborhood of Morgan Hill, right? And she looked up the data and said there are 2,200 Republicans registered in the city of Morgan Hill. And there's only 3,100 Democrats registered. But guess how many people are not registered in the city of Morgan Hill? 38,000. That's our opportunity. Across this whole county, there are thousands and thousands of people that are not registered, and there's thousands and thousands of people that would consider changing the registration. And we need your help to convince people and to participate and get us organized. We want to help Carlos and every other candidate here win in November, but we want to build an organization that is connected to each other locally and building for conservative causes moving forward.
Thank you. I'm taking you at your word. You said you would do whatever it takes. You said you really wanted to win. And we really need you. We have pre-ordered 70,000 door hangers. And we need help getting them on doors. And the 43 of us just aren't going to do it. It's just not going to happen. So a sign-up sheet is being passed out. I encourage you to please sign up. And when we call you, please don't make us call you 5 times before you call us back. I'm doing this at night and in the morning, and I work a full-time job. What we're doing here is really important. We're going to save the country. And the other thing I want to tell you is a lot of people think that they can leave California and it'll all be better. But what I've kind of realized recently from watching the news is this problem is across the country. It's not just here. And that worries me. Where will you go? America is the last great hope. So if we work together, one neighborhood at a time, we can change the future of this state. And whether you help a little or a lot, it's your power that's going to move this forward. I'm going to tell you a story. It's a true story. Many years ago, I guess 30 years ago, I was very pregnant. And I lived in a house, a small apartment, and I'm walking from the back of the apartment, and I look out my front window. Okay, now outside my front window, it was a 2-story apartment. There was an apartment on the top and an apartment on the bottom. I lived on the bottom. And the stairs to the top only had the flat part. It did not have the back part. Okay, it only had the flat part and not the back part. And so I'm very pregnant, and I'm walking to the front window, and I see a baby hanging like this off the second story stairs. And I waddle as fast as I can there, and I say, Mark, my husband, come. And my husband, who was behind me, had to very quickly estimate time and distance to get under that baby, to save that baby, and he actually did. He caught the child, okay? And I think he's very heroic for that. And why am I telling you this story? I need you to estimate time and distance and effort. We have 300,000 people we need to register. We have 2,147 neighborhood leaders we need to find. And we have 70,000 door hangers we need to get out. And I just want you to ask yourself, are you going to be the waddling pregnant woman, or are you going to be the heroic husband? That baby is our country, and I need you to save it. So we, with your help, will make Santa Clara County a shining example for the state. And it's within your grasp. We can do this. And we're excited about having you join us. And I ask you to please sign up today and make sure that Chris, Michelle, raise your hand, and myself get your sign-up sheets. And we look forward to working with you. We're building a team. Activity is happening. Our party is coming to life, and I thank you for listening.
One last thing, some of you may have gotten here late. There's plenty of food left. Please come up and help yourself. If I haven't met you, please stop by and say hello, introduce yourself. We want to get connected amongst yourselves, among all the conservatives in any case. And I'm grateful for everybody to show up today. I'm very grateful to have everybody here and share their company. And a not so hot day to be able to be out here with minimum of discomfort.
Hey, one other thing. I just want to introduce you to Shane Patrick Conley. He's actually the chairman of our Central Committee, and he came, and he wasn't here when I was introducing people earlier.
Thank you, Linda. Linda is doing such important work with the help of these great people, for Mike for hosting, for Michelle, and everybody who's been working on this initiative. It's very exciting to have people fired up and ready to go and win elections, register voters, and generally make our party here successful. So all of you who are helping to contribute to that, I thank you on behalf of all of our Republican committee members in the Republican committee. And just keep out, go out there and do this important work. We're getting our phone system set up. I got the phone yesterday, so we have a number to put in. Anyway, we've got scripts that went to the lawyer. We have things happening. So we're excited by this initiative. And Alinda has just done an incredible effort in organizing all of this. She's very well organized, and she's doing a fantastic job. And I thank you and thank everybody who is going to help with this initiative. So thank you very much. Yes, go ahead.
I know you want to participate with
The state party, yes. So Jessica Patterson, our state party chairwoman, yeah. You would have to ask her that question. I don't think that's exactly in context. I think it was in certain local races. If you're running for a school board, you're not running about Trump. You're running about what's going on in your school, and so that's what I think she's talking about. When we're online, if you notice the communications that come from the California Republican Party and from the Santa Clara County Republican Party, we do talk about Trump. And so, for the big picture, for our communications, we do talk about the president, because he's doing great things for America. And so, and he's protecting us from these insane people on the left who want to tear down our country. So so we're not. So I don't know what that's about. I think it's about local elections where you're talking about local issues, and you don't want to insert national. You know, we've been trying to fight that in city hall. The left keeps wanting to insert national issues at the local level, national issues at local level, where we're talking about funding for a park or something like that. That's not what we should be doing. We're Republicans. We believe government belongs closest to the people, and the decisions that are made there are different from the decisions that are made in Washington. And so I think that's probably where they're coming from. But as I said, in their media communications, you'll see, I just got an email this week with the president prominently displayed, and we've been putting stuff on our Facebook page and Twitter. So thanks. Good question.
Okay. Also, the CRP is supporting and working with the Trump victory campaign and doing phone calls. So we're good. We're good. We love Trump. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Enjoy yourself. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, I would do either one of those.
There are some food, barbecue, salsa, chips, and something to drink. It's a nice meeting here.
Oh, it is.
Today they want to introduce some candidate. They run for some position and they form a Republican. So thank you for watching. Now they just talk and make friends. So goodbye. Have a nice day. Thank you for watching.